Everyone, so this is my American Horror Story Freak Show review. And so let's get started with this. So I'm gonna go down here. um I have a certain list of sections for these reviews. I think I've touched on that other episodes, but you guys seem to be confused. And I'm kinda confused, so I'll delve in with those a little bit more. So number one is characters. I try to look at the characters, the antagonists, and the protagonists. I also try to look at the main villains and the people, um, like slaves to the villains as well. American Horror Story almost has that appeal. I also try to look at the plot, which is um, like how it gets to the final episode is what I try to go for, but also like how that episode came to be is trying what I'm trying to go for in a way. For writing, I'm trying to look for how it was written and how it turned out to be, because those are two separate things. And if they don't match up with the um, other three sections, then they just it just won't work for me. For horror element, I'm talking zombies. I'm talking ghosts. I'm talking horror things that make the show scary. American Horror Story. And so yeah, for this freak show, I love it so much. Freak Show's a really good season, but at the same time, it also has some bumps too. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. So without further ado, this is American Horror Story Freak Show review. First, we'll start with characters. The characters in this season are very scripted, but it's almost too scripted. They don't really have their own touch, especially the Siamese twins that Sarah Paulson plays. They're really, really cool. Let me say that. But they're not. They're kind of too scripted in my opinion. Elsa Mars, that's a whole different story. We'll get to her in a bit. But the two twins, they're really good characters, and they're one of my favorites in the season. They're just not good enough for me, and they just don't. They don't have any life in them, in my opinion, and it just kind of doesn't get to that. But the main antagonist of the series, Dandy Mott, he's almost too surreal. Like he's a really good character, but he's almost too. This is gonna sound weird, but he's almost too horror itch. I don't know if that makes sense, but he's almost too delved in with horror. It makes his character kind of sound scripted like the twins too. Just too bloody, too gory. But Elsa Mars, I mean, that was a pretty good character. She's almost like a villain by the end of the season. She has good life. The actor that played her very well. She's just like the character that was more real and that was in the middle of real and scripted. You know what I mean? Just like very surreal, but also has a backstory and life in her. Now, plot. this this season, like season 3, has a very scattered plot, but at the same time, it's very good plot. Like it's very step by step. Things happen, reactions happen, but at the same time, by the end of the season, all of the except Danny Mott. Danny Mott is not a freak. This is a freak show, and he acts like he's a freak, but he isn't. And that's at the afterlife of all of the freaks by the end of the series. It's almost like it doesn't matter what happened on Earth because it doesn't count out for your mistakes, and you get to go to the same place as all the other freaks go in the afterlife and spend your eternity there. It's not like season 3, where if you do bad stuff, you go to a worse place. That's what I loved about this season. I feel like that step downward for this season, this afterlife aspect, was one of the best of the whole season. So I'm going to grade these out of 10 by the end, but I feel like that aspect alone made the plot sound really good. The writing. The writing was almost all over the place. It was almost too much for me. It was too scattered. And just like the plot can be scattered and still look good. But the writing, if it's too scattered, it just doesn't fit in with the story, the plot. It just doesn't sound very good. In my opinion, it just doesn't fit. So the writing for this season, there's too many things going on. It's almost too much for me. And with it just isn't good. And I stutter a lot, but it just isn't. It just isn't the best for this season. So yeah, it's not the best, but it can be fixed. That's what we're gonna find out in the next season. Oof. Anyway, horror element. Horror element is a definite 90% or upgrade for this one, because horror element for this season, there's killer clowns, there's different type of freaks, there's Dandy Mott, there's so much horror things that it gets a good score for this season, because American Horror Story needs horror where it just doesn't fit. And that's what some of the seasons are lacking, like Murder House. Yeah, Asylum might have too much horror in it, and it kind of messes with the writing. But anyway, I'd give this season, for characters, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. For plot, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. For writing, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. And for horror element, 9 out of 10. So for a lot of people don't like this season, but for me, it was a pretty good season. The only thing bad was the writing. And it's only sometimes that I give some of these a 10 out of 10. And for writing, it just didn't fit for me. So that's my official review for American Horror Story Freak Show. I hope you guys like these. I really like making them, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye-bye.